All right, so hopefully you guys are getting a little bit better on the phone. You're actually talking to sellers. You're not getting hung up on. Maybe even schedule an appointment with a seller, which would be great. And I don't want you guys to be stingy with appointments that you set. I want you to go on the first appointment that you can, even if it's not a really hot lead or whatever, because you need to just get that first one out of the way, build up your confidence and your experience because it's a little stressful at first. If you've never bought a property, maybe you're young like me, you've never even looked at a house to buy. It's stressful because it's like, what do I look at? I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what to say to the seller. Are they going to think that I don't know what I'm doing? So go on that first appointment just to get it out of the way, guys, just to get some experience. And then also you have to do some pre-appointment intelligence. So you want to know what's going on in your market. You want to know the sold comps, what's for sale, right? You want to know the as-is comps that were bought with cash. And you even want to print those out and bring those with you to show to the seller, to have some type of evidence to back your numbers up, and also show that you did your own research, you put in the work. Sellers appreciate stuff like that, and the fact that you're also kind of showing it to them so they understand and you guys could be on the same page. And then also you want to bring your purchase and sale agreement in case you negotiate a deal, you can get the contract signed right then and there. So I don't want you guys to feel pressure that you have to pull out the contract, try to get it signed. You don't have to. You can just, take a second, breathe, tell the seller you're going to go back and talk with your partners about it, and then make them the offer. So don't feel pressure or stress that you have to do anything. The ball is in your court, okay? So the pre-appointment intelligence, you're going to print out some as-is comps that were cash deals that you can bring, show what as-is sales in the neighborhood are going for. Just want to bring your purchase and sale agreement as well in case you need it, and hopefully you will need it. I recommend all you guys to show up to the appointment. Listen, first of all, be on time. Do not show up late. If anything, you want to show up 5 minutes early, but preferably show up like 15, 20 minutes early, and then just drive through the neighborhood, drive through the subdivision. You should even look at the comps that you have and then see where those are and maybe go drive by those so you have a better idea of what they look like so you can articulate that to the seller. You want to sound like you're knowledgeable about the area. So landmarks, if there's a school nearby, if there's a park, you want to check that out. So when you're talking to the seller, you say, oh yeah, that park over there, yeah, that school over there, or whatever. It would sound like you're knowledgeable about the area, which is important. So here's the part that you guys get stuck on, is when you meet the seller, what do you say? You're afraid that you're going to mess it up. When you meet the seller, the first thing you want to do is make them comfortable with you because they don't know who you are. You're coming into their house, even if it's a rental property for them. They don't live there. Still, it can be a little awkward at first, so you want to just build some rapport right off the bat, and maybe for the first 5 or 6 minutes you speak with them. You don't even talk about the property. You just build rapport. What do you do for a living? Oh yeah, where are you from? Oh yeah, I grew up over here, and I used to do so-and-so, this type of work, but now I'm in real estate. Because be a little personable, show your personality with the seller. So just immediately just start getting to know them so you can, throughout the rest of the appointment, treat them like you guys are good friends, like you guys are buddies, and just have that type of vibe for the rest of the appointment. So like I said, first 5 minutes, I wouldn't even really get into the house. I would just start going right for rapport. And then, start walking the house. I would recommend you walk the outside of the house first. Get some pictures of the outside. And then just be talking to them as you're walking the house. Like, you walk, you check things out, but be talking to them about their situation, about how they got to this point where now they want to sell. Typically in wholesaling, it's going to be a distressed seller, so they're going to have some type of crazy story. Somebody, they got divorced, or somebody squatting in the house. It's always going to be something in this business. And when you're walking the house, obviously you want to take notice of things that are broken or whatever, but don't point out all the bad things about the house. Just kind of take notice of it, maybe even acknowledge it. Or, you see a big hole in the floor, just look at that and say, oh. And the sellers will pick up on that you're seeing what the problems are, or you're seeing what's broken or needs to be fixed. And then you have to make sure that you take pictures and videos. Without pictures and videos, what are you going to show to your buyers? So you only get a limited amount of walkthroughs. So you want to make every walkthrough count. So your first walkthrough with the seller, get some pictures and videos. This is very important. If you didn't get any pictures or videos, it's basically like you never went on the appointment. Hey squad, I forgot to add one thing in the video about taking the pictures. So the most important things you want to take pictures of, you want to get one picture of the outside, you want to get pictures of the kitchens and the bathrooms, the bedrooms too, and then go in the basement or wherever the utilities are, get a picture of the hot water heater, of the furnace, of the oil tank if it's there, of the electric panels, of the gas meters. Utilities are, that stuff is important, probably the most important to have pictures of for when you show to buyers. So and then really take your time. Like, there's no rush. You don't have to act like you know everything. You can kind of just take your time, take pictures, videos, whatever you need to do, ask them questions, really talk with them, build some rapport. Maybe you walk through every room, you stop and you talk to them in every room about something else and kind of stretch it out, build as much rapport as you can, because what happens is if you walk the whole property in 5-10 minutes and then you haven't built any rapport, you're kind of just in and out. When it comes time to start negotiating and talking numbers, it's going to be very difficult for you. You're going to have a hard time since you haven't built that common ground with the seller. As soon as you throw out a lowball number, they're just going to want to throw you out of the house. Okay, so that's why it's important to build that common ground and that rapport with them. So you're on a friendly type of vibe once we get to the point where we can start talking numbers. And then once we get to that point where we want to, negotiate, I prefer, if it's possible, maybe end the walkthrough in the kitchen and then sit down at the kitchen table. Maybe pull out your comps. You pull out the comps, you show it to them. You can kind of start really breaking down the numbers with them. And it's just a different vibe when you're sitting down. It's more relaxed. You have a relaxed body language rather than I'm standing, you're standing. It's like we're standing against each other. We can all sit at the kitchen table and kind of just hang out and just have a conversation, right? And then you're going to review the comps, their situation, give them all the options, right? So you say to them, you're sitting down, so why don't you just list it with a realtor? You could do that and probably even get more money, right? Like it's going to take a little bit longer for the property to sell. You might even have to make some repairs on your own, but you could get more listing it on the market. Give them that option. As a friend, you want what's best for them. So the conversation at the end is going to be, so what's the best option for you? What is the best outcome? So you're giving them all the options. Have you thought about listing it? Have you thought about just renting it out? Have you thought about just keeping it and holding on to it for another 10 years, right? So you're giving them all the options besides working with you. And once they say no to everything else, oh, well, I guess working with me is your best option then. And then just getting that out of the way, and you're not being too forceful. You're pretty much making them come to you because you're giving them all the other answers, the stuff they don't want to hear. And then you're basically making them tell you, no, what I want is you. What I want is an all cash as is offer. It's like, all right, perfect. So me and you, we are perfect for each other. We're two peas in a pod. And then, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I also want to throw in that if there's tenants, if the seller has tenants in the property, don't say anything to the tenants. Most of the time the sellers are gonna not even want the tenants to know that you're a buyer. They might say that you're from an insurance company or something. So be very careful with that, not to disturb the tenants or even say anything to them or ask them any questions, whatever. So I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys go on your first appointment, you kill it, you get some contracts signed. Please hit me up, guys. Ask me questions. Give me some ideas for some new videos, whatever. I love you guys.